Hello everyone from AHK office, dear members and our friends. We are happy to see you in our webinar again in such a nice weather, and we are happy that you are joining our webinars. It means that we are doing something right and our content is interesting and valuable for you. Today we have one interesting theme: effective communication in social media and your web. And all of us are in social media. We have different communication channels. We have, of course, our websites, but we are also inside in this communication very actively, every one of us. But still, we are raising the questions: are we active enough? Do we communicate the interesting content? Are we attractive for our partners and for our customers? And of course, we have today invited one of our members, new members, Brando, and they will share their own experience because we are very active in social communication. We have already as customers very known brands like Go Vilnius and very effective communication. So I guess we can share with you some insights and some recipes which could be interesting for you as well. And maybe you can learn something. We are all curious, and so I can today invite Mangardas Matusevičius and Tomas Šurna to share their experience on that. Dear members, you can start already.
Okay, so hello everyone. So I am Mangardas and this is my colleague Thomas. So we are very happy that we can share some insights from our market, from our business perspective, what we have gained in our knowledge and our experience. And as today we have kind of big shift from our daily routine and in business processes because of COVID. Together with AHK, we thought that that would be interesting to share our knowledge and to share some thoughts on the digital communication overall. So I will share my screen in a moment. I hope that everybody sees now our presentation. It will be easier to follow our thoughts and talk about it. Yes, so for the very beginning, in fields of communication, we have the most common way that if we are not talking, then somebody is talking. And in this case, it's very natural that if we want to form our presentation of a company, we need to form it, basically, start our communication in social media, in digital channels, because our users are there and they are leaving their comments, they are leaving their thoughts there, and they are searching for us in digital channels, as we talk about social media, websites, etc. So to very beginning, to better understand digital landscape, we need to think from two perspectives, that we have channels which are not controlled. And these channels are social media channels, for example, because a lot of content and events are happening there, and mostly we cannot control how users sees it, what they do there. Do they leave comments or do they not? Are they leaving any reviews about us or our business? So in this uncontrolled environment, we have an example for to better understand that we are not sure, for example, if user has been showed a video from example in Facebook, a video from Greenpeace about CO2 levels. And afterwards, the user can see our ad about new SUV with gasoline engine that is going in mountains, etc. So in this perspective, this environment is not controlled, and our main goal of the business is to shift users from uncontrolled environment to controlled one. And especially in sales, we know that we want to have live meetings with clients. If we have a shop, we want clients to come to our shop because it's controlled environment from our sales representatives. And in digital channels, mostly we are talking about that controlled environment is our website. So basically today we'll talk a little bit about social media and digital advertising. Then my colleague Thomas will talk about websites and how to do the best website for your user, and very shortly about analytics, how to do it and what is seen there. So for very beginning, there was Edelman study made about, and they asked business executives about what they see is the most important in communication and relationship with the users or customers. And most of them, 62% understood and said that strengthening understanding of business buyers, of clients, basically is kind of important. 62% of them said, but just 39 said that they are implementing it in their daily processes. And from this point, I think we really need to understand the shortfall of this study. And basically, we are going that redefining mission. Okay, just a half of the business think that it's important, and nearly a half is implementing it. So basically, changing our mission, purpose, offerings, understanding the market change, environmental, environmental actions, etc. Strengthening position in the market as a trusted thought leader. 82% thinks that it's one of the most important things to do in communications, and just 75% implementing it. So, and basically also the same about increasing communicators' relationship. Also, just a bit more, a little bit more than a half implements it in their business. So from this study, it was really a good insight that a lot of business executives understand what they need to do, but not a lot of businesses implementing it. And the question here appears, is it not worth to implement, or they do not find the way how to implement it, or if they don't think that implementing is worth it? So we'll try to a bit change your thoughts about if you're not thinking that implementing communication channels and digital communication in your daily business is important. So I know that it's more or less like a conference, but we want for you to have exercise. So basically, now just think about your business, your company or your brand or your branch of the business, and just write down, if you have in computer a piece of paper or a telephone, write down what animal your business is now. So I'll give you, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, and if you can try just. So basically, the first animal which comes to your mind when you're thinking about your company. I think it would be the best if you can write down the animal which you want to become, because all the businesses have strategies, missions, visions. So what you want to become, what animal you want to become. I really hope that everybody is writing. We cannot see you here, but still. And for this, I won't leave time, but write down the sentence, what is your main value proposition of the company? And later on, I would like you to go to your colleagues, ask them to write the same things. And just after we write, try to see, is it the same animal? Is it the same animal that you want to become? And does your colleague also sees the same value proposition of the company, what you're offering? We have seen in a lot of cases that company employees does not see the company in the same way. We have different perspectives of it. So that means that our users also have very different perspectives about our company and why they are choosing us. During the COVID crisis, a lot of businesses went back to the price and discount and special offers. And main question is, what is your brand apart from discounts, good prices? And in this case, if we just about the price and just about the discounts or promo materials, it's very hard, and it's short-term vision, and it's very hard to fight in the price, just in the price levels. So we really need to think about what our company provides more in value for a customer, why our customer is choosing us instead of price, why we are better than our competitors. And it's basically everything what we really need to think about. Then we are thinking about the communication, and especially when we want to talk with our users. So social media appears as one of the digital communications tool, I would call, where we can talk with our users. And why social media became so important and most commonly used? Because it's cost effective, what is very important for business. It can be targeted, and we can quite well measure the results what we get. And then we have something more to offer for our user than just a price, and we have greater value. We want to be heard. And in social media, being heard is not that expensive for you. A lot of companies do not implement communication strategies, which follows ads, investing into the ads, and retargeting, targeting, all the social media advertisement tools. And it's quite bad because it's not that expensive. So basically for 1,000 impressions, most commonly it's about 1 or 4 euros. Of course, it's really actual cost is determined by various factors, how many businesses in the same area, how many ads would like to go to the same audience, industry, or have the same budget. But basically the cost is quite low, and link clicks, so basically to get from uncontrolled environment to controlled environment to your website, is also not that expensive. It's mostly under 1 euro. If we're talking, a lot of companies, when we talk about social media, says that, okay, our business is not in B2C. We really understand why B2C companies are in the social media, but we are in B2B market, and we do not see a value of investing into the social media. But we really need to understand that also B2B customers are on the social media. And when we're thinking about them, it's not just that we have one social media channel, which is LinkedIn, it's for professionals, and we can use just this channel. All other channels are used by businessmen, and we can find them by their interests. So basically, we are talking about the industries they are working in, their hobbies, topics, what they follow, etc. Also, we can target them by demographics. So basically, in most common way that people from 25 to 45 or 50 years, they're most probably working. We can see their demographics about country, city, even street. And also we can use in the same way retargeting to find, are they interested in our company? So basically afterwards, when we visit our website, we can try to come back with other messages to them and check, are they interested? And then we'll see if they're interested. Maybe it was B2B customers, and we can offer for them something. Then talking about communication on social media, we really need to change our mindset. So basically, a lot of businesses still think that they need to share something on social media. And the biggest shift on the performance of your communication is when you shift from we need to share something to we know what we want to share to the exact customers. We have exact products or categories what we want, what we are talking about. We have target audiences for whom we are talking, and we have a quite clear goal or purpose of our message. So just in this case, we are going then to measurable results. And from organic reach, which is nowadays in social media a little bit less than 5%, and most in B2C market is even around 3% of your followers sees your posts. So we need to go from organic reach to ads, to performance monitoring and investment. And in most of the businesses channels, engagement in social media is from company employees, employees' relatives, etc. You are asking, hey, please like our page, and maybe something will happen. But in this case, it's way better to invest to your target audience to see how they're engaging with your product, with your messaging, and there is a lot of different ways how what we can do with them, especially if we are not just selling straightforward from our website. We can talk about traffic, so developing awareness of our brand. We can generate leads and help to get more sales for our sales representatives. So then we're thinking about messaging, how it should be formed. So basically, we formed an example from this webinar. So we are sharing our insights about efficient communication to what target audience AHK members, and is basically to build a potential partner that we can build our awareness of a potential partner to their business and help them navigate in digital communications field. And it's very easy to follow what our main goals, what we are offering for you after then you are hearing us, and basically it's kind of easy to measure the results afterwards. In business, mostly in B2C and B2B segments, we also need to think not just about how to make ads about our products, how to offer more discounts, but in social media, it's constructed to share thoughts. And basically, it's the best way if business can build up a thought leadership in the market. A lot of companies are trying to do so, and sharing your expertise, knowledge of the field is way better than just saying that our product is the best. Because products are changing, new companies are coming to the market, and competition is increasing in most of the market industries. So while forming the thought leadership, you provide the biggest value for the customer, and you're offering them to choose you not because of the product, but because you know that your product is the best, or you are creating the best products because you understand the market and needs of a customer. And what brands mostly find in social media, that for B2C brands, you can discover new audiences without spending a lot. So basically attracting more customers to your website, more customers will be aware of your brand, more will search for you. And for B2B brands, the most commonly KPI for social media is new channels to support your teams. And we have cases where social media communication can help to decrease sales cycle, where we can generate leads, where we can offer for brands a bit more than our product, because they understand that we are sharing everything about the market insights. We are sharing way more than just a product or service information, but we are saying that we are experts in the field and we understand their need. So basically there is a lot of ways how businesses can communicate in social media. We try to follow some steps how you should do it and what can be measured. So now, from a little bit uncontrolled environment, my colleague Thomas will talk about what's a good website and how it's performing.
Just a moment, Mangidas, many thanks for your insights. It was very valuable, and I wrote a lot of recipes already down. I would like to ask also our audience to write your questions in chat. And after our presentation, we can share, we can a little bit discuss your questions. Of course, after presentation, you're also, like our members, available everywhere, so we can ask you directly. But if you have right now any thoughts or questions, you can easily write it in chat, and after presentation, we can answer them. And very nice insight about your presentation, and I would say that, for example, what is important, I wrote down that it's SWOT, especially to make a SWOT of your company. What is your strengths, weaknesses, to know your competitors, and of course, all these things you can do in communication. By knowing it, it would be a way of easy to make a communication plan for your company. And also, I liked a lot your thoughts about leadership. That of course the company product is one thing, but leadership and values is another thing, which makes so attractive. And not always B2B and B2C are so different. So it could be that it's quite similar things, B2B and B2C, because before the screens we can we are all leaders, we are all managers, so it's a human being in B2C and B2B. So thank you, and now Thomas Shurna, maybe you can share your experience.
Sure, exactly, thank you. So now shifting, as my colleague Mangidas mentioned, from uncontrolled environment to controlled one. So, okay, great, now you have strategy, you have a clear message, you get a person to visit your website, and then what? A lot of people approach me or Mangidas every day and say, hey, we need a really good website. Well, that's cool. Everyone wants a good website. I never had a client who said, hey, I want a really terrible website. But what's a good website really? You know, a lot of people ask this question. That's a question we try to answer every day. And apparently the answer isn't what's the right color, what's the right font, or what's the right system to use. We boil down a philosophical approach, if you will, to talk about what's a good website. And we hope that's going to change your perspective and your thought process when you're thinking about creating a new one, or, you know, looking and inspecting your current one to think what you could do better. So I divided my presentation into two parts. First of which is, how do visitors that browse internet think? And naturally, from those 5 points, we derive a clear framework. How should businesses think when creating a website or digital presence to fulfill the needs of visitors, therefore enhancing their digital presence? So let's start with visitors. We have 5 points, and let's start with the first one. Website visitors in general appreciate quality and credibility of the website they're visiting. A good example would be Wikipedia. In the slide, you can see a ton of proposed redesign examples from designers all over the world who would like to make a more beautiful, a better looking, more colorful, you name it, design for Wikipedia. I guess it's every designer's dream to make a design for one of the biggest websites, right? And even though you could say all those designs look pretty and eye-catching and everything, this is how the homepage of Wikipedia looks today. And you can say that's not the prettiest website you saw, but the thing is, people go to Wikipedia not because of the good design, but the content that is hosted there. Unfortunately, not every business is like Wikipedia, but the main lesson from that point is you can't hide lack of good content with good design. It has to be, you know, like on the scales, really well measured. So sometimes The best design is not the one who looks the best, but the one that performs the best. Second thing is your website visitors don't read the content, which is kind of funny given the first point. They scan the content. And a good proof of it would be this very first slide I'm showing you, because you saw the slide before, so you know what's in the content, and you didn't read it. You don't see that all of the bullet points have been changed. The word visitors is misspelled. You just scan the content and you already know what to expect from the slide, even though it's not the content that was initially here. To further drive my point, here's a thing called heat map. A heat map is the redder the area is, the more users focus on something. And you can see, even though the design of the website is not the prettiest one, the parts that are visibly distinguished, like by now or by full version of the website, is scanned by user the fastest and most clicked on. Another example would be this hypothetical AHK store I made up for today. Let's say this is an e-store selling something, doesn't really matter. The funny thing is that if I would ask you right now which button is buy now button, you don't know the content of the website, you don't know what is selling, you don't know anything about it, but I guess most of the people would say that's a red button that says buy now. And it's not about the color, it's about the layout and the familiarity, and then that you have been on the multiple websites like that before, and you just know what to do as a visitor. Third thing is that users, as all of us, are impatient. And that has two things considered. First of all is the actual speed. Amazon made a research a while ago, and the research result was that every 100 milliseconds of page load, additional than expected, decreases the potential revenue of the e-store by 1%. Of course, we shouldn't take this data as granted. Not all of us are Amazon, and it depends on a lot of factors. But actual speed is really important for the website. A good rule of thumb would be 2 or 3 seconds for a regular website, depending on the circumstances, but consider that. Another thing is that perceived speed. For example, if we take e-store as an example, when we need to buy something, we did all the steps, we added the item to the cart, we clicked buy now, and we see this form. Instantly we think, oh my God, it's gonna take so much time to actually fill it and, fill all the data, email, password, address, and everything. So even though the website could be really fast technically, it looks slow from the process side that could discourage users from actually doing something. Contrary example would be Sanukai.lt, one of the biggest retailers in Lithuania. The same process as I just showed before, but they divided this process into 3 parts. That's one good thing. Another thing, they already made progress by rel, meaning like, oh, I already did the first step, so I'm almost done. Like, I'm gonna enter the same amount of data, probably gonna take even longer because it's gonna load the page 3 times because it's 3 steps, but the perceived speed of the process is way faster than the usual. Fourth thing is that users, as people do, they do not make optimal choices. Meaning that most of the people go just for good enough, and as we just talked, they scan the page, and if they know what the button does, or they have an idea what the button would do, they just click it without much thinking, Let's go back to the example before. Most people would guess that the red button would say buy now. So if you get creative with your website, and you make the green button buy it now button, it's kind of on you that you slow down the process and you would lead the user to unnecessary expectation on the wrong page. Fifth thing is that users want to have control. And that's slightly different thing from what Mangidas just talked about. Yes, a website is our digital presence, we control it, but users want to have the final say. What do I mean? Most of the time, people or businesses, when creating a website, they say, oh, it's our digital home, you know, we invite you to our digital living room or whatever. But I would encourage you to think about it not as a home, more like as a business meeting. What that means, user wants to have control in the way that if you ask, you know, why would you buy this product, for example, in a dinner party at your friend's place, and your friend would reply, oh, you know, I just liked it, it's really good. That's a sufficient answer. However, if you visit the website and the website says, buy our product because it's really good, and you know, that's not a really good idea. You want to have the last say, as you would say, you would go to the business meeting and you could ask the sales person, for example, okay, why do you think your product is the best? So even though we control the environment, we have to give the user the final say on why our product, why our service is the best. So naturally, having those 5 ideas in mind, what should we think about when making a new website? Well, for starters, a website these days should be a hygiene thing by now, because think about it. We have so many ways to communicate with users in this technology era. For example, Facebook stores, WhatsApps, smart speakers, artificial intelligence, blockchain. I could go on and on. So the website, as an idea, it shouldn't be really a question. It should be more like, okay, how do we improve it? How do we test it? How do we make it better? Not whether we make it at all. Second thing, to contribute on what Mangrida said before, is that we can control the shift from uncontrolled environment. As Mangrida mentioned, you can control the context of social media. For example, you can appear in a really bad context your ad, or Google AdWords or whatever, to control environment when the user wants to have the final say, but we lead the content. Second thing, do not leave the user alone. Even though if you manage to successfully lead the user from the ads, from the leaflets, from your store, from anywhere to your website, don't just drop it in the middle of the website. You were the one who invited the user to the journey to the website. So it's up to you to explain the information as clearly and as convincingly as possible. You cannot expect that the user gonna understand everything from the first sight, because as we discussed before, people attention span is short, people make unoptimal choices, so it's up to you to explain everything clearly. A lot of people say don't make users think, and I think that's not a good phrase, meaning that people assume that other people are stupid. I would say don't confuse your users, because in the ocean of information, you don't have a luxury to overwhelm people with too much information. First thing is that you should use best practices. A lot of times when Mangrida or I talk to a client, they say, we want to make the website as intuitive as possible. But what does really intuitive means? Back in 2007, when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone, he spent good 20 minutes explaining how to zoom in the photo, for example, with 2 fingers on the touchscreen. And everyone was like, why would you do that gesture on the phone? It seems so unclear. I'm like, why? Now, more than 10 years later, we don't even think about it. It seems intuitive as it is. So that means that web has been longer than the iPhone around. And that means we already have a good portion of intuitive decisions made for us. If you go to the website, you can imagine how password chooser should work, how notification should work, how calendar picker should work. So use that. Don't get too creative on design when you don't have to. Users prefer familiar things, and familiar means intuitive. The fourth thing is that be as iterative as possible, meaning you having a website is not like buying a thing and putting it on the shelf to sit. A lot of users say, okay, we need a website that would be good for another 4 or 5 years. And this is how IT landscape looked 4 or 5 years ago. Facebook had designed that's 2 generations old by now. iPhone 6 was the newest iPhone. Windows 8 was just released and everyone was mad about this new design. Apple Watch had the first iteration. So that was 5 years ago. So imagine going back in time in 5 years and saying, I want the website that's going to last for 5 years, and look where technology is at now. We have tens of million watches sold, Windows 10, iPhone 12 was just released. So, you know, you can't predict everything that's going to happen. So with that in mind, you should set your mind that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Once you create it, you need to iterate, you need to update it, and think how to make it as efficient as possible. Meaning, you have to know what to test. This is a good example from, I think, Second World War, when one of the plane companies had this image of, you know, all the planes that came back with bullet holes, thinking, okay, we need to improve those wings and other parts that were shot, and this is how we make a plane better plane in general. Until one of the engineers said, okay, but what about those spots that are not red? You know, the possibility that planes that were shot in that particular spot didn't even make back, because I guess those spots that were red were sufficient enough to survive. So this, you know, when you have your iterations, you need to be really, really particular about which features you want to produce for your user. And the final point, if you had one point to take away from this whole 10-point presentation, is don't make your website a separate island in your sales process. You don't have the luxury to do that in the digital world, and you don't need to look at your website as a competitor to your sales market or sales representatives. Meaning that, have you thought about all the ways how your website could be utilized to improve your business sales flow? You know, maybe a form could be integrated to your salespeople email, and they could book a time that, you know, that's not a conflict on the calendar for a call instantly. Maybe it could be a sales quota generator, so the user gets a custom-made PDF. You know, the limit is basically your imagination, and it could drive sales so much more with a relatively small effort. So please, when you make a New York website, don't make it home alone. Don't just make it and leave it on the shelf. Be sure that you iterate enough and make sure that it serves people the best way possible. So those are main steps on how to make a good website. Thank you.
Okay, and now just very shortly to proceed from the websites to analytic part, and we chose just one tool, just to easily understandable. So it's Google Analytics on website. So basically, when we are taking from social media channels visitors to our website, in our website we should have at least Google Analytics and set up it right, because it helps for a few things to understand. So basically, you can understand and discover potential clients. Basically, most of the businesses understand what their clients are coming from, etc., what their demographics, we have personas, etc. But analytics can prove that, and or analytics can find you new clients, because you are thinking that your client is from Vilnius, from 35 years old, businessman, etc. But you see that your website, to your website is coming way younger people, maybe not men, but women, and not from Vilnius, but maybe from Klaipėda or I don't know, even other countries. And they're interested in your product. Then you need to have other languages, etc. Second thing is that you can compare your marketing investments. A lot of companies choose just one channel to generate leads to the website. But as we have a lot of channels, it's very important to test them all and find the most effective ways to attract customers. And we can see very different KPIs. Maybe from social media, customers are coming to get more information about our product. Maybe from LinkedIn, I don't know, traffic is right going to the lead section and leaving their contact information for your sales representatives to call them. So we can compare marketing channels and where we need to invest or where is the most effective way to invest. The third part is that you can evaluate your content. You see the behavior of the visitor, you see how much time they are spending, to which pages they are going, to which products or services they are most interested in, and you can create this user journey by yourself, then explaining to user what you want them to see and also provide them content what they are searching in your website. And the fourth thing that you can basically improve your website. So basically, if you see that from your homepage, user bounces or closes the website very fastly, maybe he does not find the information what he is searching. You can create a journey which leads to your products or sales, or you can add buttons. For example, if you want to get more leads, so basically to leave your email address or leave your phone number, etc. So that's pretty much it. So I think now it's the best time for questions, if we have some.
Till now, I can't see any questions because I think it was so interesting that everyone was, listening, not writing the questions. My question already is, will you share this presentation with our members?
Yes, we will share.
That's nice. That's nice. And I think, the insights from your side was very interesting. Quite a fresh ones, and I like the bullet points that you pointed in each of the theme. So it's quite a good scenarios to check all of it. And I'm sure that after our webinar, everyone will see their own pages and they will check it like the plane, for sure, that the plane will fly to the right direction. So it's interesting insights. So you're still welcome to have some questions if you want. And my question will be also, for example, if the company thinks that we have very nice tools maybe or some kind of news and so on, and we are posting in social media, what do you think? What is the main recipe to involve, for example, our customers to be more active? What to do, how to attract them, that they will be a little bit more active on our communication, or for example, if we are believing that the content shall be relevant to them?
Yeah, so for the very beginning, we need to think about our messaging. A lot of companies are trying to ask questions and they see that there is no comments in the field. Because visitors, your clients or your users in social media does not have a lot of time to check your content. So basically try to create a path and strategy how you, from shorter messages, increase your message size. So in this path, you will see that your followers will spend a little bit each time, a little bit more to read your messages. Then you have way better quality users, and afterwards, when your posts and information is read, you can ask them some questions. But try to make it more interactive. So basically, you can ask questions about our products. And today, for example, in our social media, Mangirdas is replying. That make it more personal touch points with the user. Just not leave some comments about our product, because nobody is leaving if they are not getting something back. Mm-hmm. Also, what is the very common mistake that companies do not reply in comments or messages. So if people are asking and you're not replying or you're not interacting with it, so later on, no one wants to comment because they see that there is no purpose. we can see it on the influencers on social media. We are very active, and that's how we formed to be influencers, because we are replying to each and every one message. We are liking every comment. We are replying to comments, and even to bad comments. We are searching for ways to, I don't know, to make the message or understand why other people don't like you. You need to reply if you have some critical issues with a product that somebody left a bad review about it. Don't delete it. Just think about how you can improve your product, or how you can improve the process for the user who was not happy about the product, that he will leave better comments later on.
So probably the right way is to try different kind of how to say things, and then you can find out what is really works for you. So could
Basically,
be,
yes.
could be trying by doing by.
Try to test a lot.
That's true. So yeah, we have a lot of interested participants, but no questions. Maybe we are too shy to ask you directly now. And of course, each of us, we have the special situation, but I guess if we will contact you, so you can tailor-make the answers for them as well. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for very interesting presentations. We will share the content also for those who is interested in, and also you can find the video on our website afterwards, the link to video. So thank you once again visiting us in AHK.
It's our pleasure. Don't forget the exercise with your colleagues to make
sure.
the valid proposition.
So thank you. Bye.
Bye.